A gorgeous weather anchor suddenly loses it live on air and starts spitting out a language that's definitely not from Earth.
Today's
The broadcast gets picked up all across the country. Most people just think she's lost her mind. But a guy standing in a wheat field instantly understands exactly what she's saying. The second it clicks for him, the wheat field right next to him, with zero warning, suddenly forms a perfect pattern out of nowhere, matching a pattern he'd once read about in old records. At the same time, a top-secret alien file that's been locked away for 79 years gets completely cracked wide open. The story kicks off during a global crisis, a time of massive upheaval. World War III feels like it's right around the corner. Our lead, Daniel, works at a company called Wodex, and he steals a stash of USB drives along with a mysterious palm-sized device. Wodex isn't just some ordinary private company, it's a private military contractor with tight ties to the Pentagon. Turns out the US found evidence of alien activity as early as 1947, including a living alien recovered from a crashed spacecraft. All the related samples and data ended up stored inside Wodex. After getting hold of the alien specimen, Wodex has been secretly experimenting on it ever since. During one operation, Daniel accidentally unlocks the whole archive that's been sealed for 79 years. It's not just footage of the Roswell crash and real video of the flying saucer, there's also footage of several captured living aliens, including scenes of them being dissected. Every time Daniel thinks about how this alien life has been treated, he feels more and more sick about it. So he decides to expose the truth about aliens, hoping public pressure will force the researchers to stop tormenting this extraterrestrial life. But his plan puts him at odds with the company's top brass. Noah uses his powers on Daniel's girlfriend for the first time, trying to force Daniel to hand over the USB drives and the stolen controller. Out of options, Daniel tries to trade the device to get his girlfriend back, but the other side threatens to keep her unless he hands over the controller. The controller is a one-of-a-kind piece of alien tech. There are only 3 of them in the entire world, and it's incredibly powerful. It can remotely control people's minds, create an invisibility field for a group, and even tap into alien energy for power. With the controller's help, Daniel manages to save his girlfriend and they flee by car with all the secret files. Once they're safely away, the first thing Daniel does is call Hugo to arrange for backup to meet him the next day. That night, Daniel takes his girlfriend to a monastery, where Jane, a novice nun, lives. She's never told Daniel about her past, and Daniel's got his own dark history too. Years ago he spent over a year mixed up in cybercrime, and while serving time he got secretly recruited by a warden who brought him into Wodex. Daniel shows Jane 2 clips from the secret archive to explain why he's turning against the company. The first clip is from 1973, the Homestead Air Force Base incident. It involves a guy well known in UFO conspiracy circles. On February 19, 1973, a man obsessed with UFO research finishes a round of golf with his friend Nixon. Nixon takes him alone late at night into a classified warehouse at Homestead Air Force Base. First he's shown the wreckage of a crashed flying saucer, then taken into a secret room with 6 to 8 refrigerated glass-topped cabinets holding alien bodies about 60 centimeters tall, bald, with big ears. After seeing all this, he's completely shaken and goes home to tell his wife everything. Years later, the two of them divorce, and it's only then his ex-wife leaks the story to a journalist and the media. Once the story breaks, the Pentagon immediately locks down anything alien-related, restricting access to classified material, worried more secrets will leak out. The second clip shows a Wodex staff member performing vivisection on a living alien, with no anesthesia at all. It's brutal, inhumane stuff. Even if the subject is an alien, it still deserves basic respect. Humanity shouldn't have to commit atrocities just to learn something. But because of human greed, the truth about this abuse has been covered up for over a decade. And it's these tragedies that make Daniel determined to go public. Jane immediately objects. She thinks that once this secret gets out, it could bring unpredictable danger to humanity. But Daniel has his own conviction. He believes people deserve the truth, and it shouldn't be Wodex's call to make. But Jane pushes back hard, asking who says the right to know outweighs the consequences of actually knowing. Their whole disagreement really traces back to Jane's own past. As a novice nun, she holds deep, unshakable beliefs. If people found out aliens are real, would the belief systems humanity's held for centuries just collapse? And if people lose that certainty, what's left holding civilization together? Jane's convinced that if Daniel exposes everything, he'll be the one who sets off disaster. The argument gets heated and the two of them split. With Daniel gone, Noah sees his opening. He pulls out his controller and starts using it on Jane's mind. Jane senses something's off and tries to grab the cross she wears to resist. When she comes out of the bathroom, she sees Noah sitting in the living room. It's actually just an illusion Noah's created with the controller. He's trying to use this trick to get her to slip up and reveal where Daniel's hiding. To keep from being controlled, Jane cuts her own palm with the cross, staying conscious through the pain so Noah has to push even harder. In the end, he still manages to lock onto their location, and Wodex immediately sends people out to find them. Jane keeps cutting herself to break free of the control, and after the cross falls to the ground, she jams her fingers straight into the wound. But Noah doesn't give up. He even tries planting the idea in her mind of hurting Daniel herself if they can't find him.
If we can't find Daniel, or we miss him again, you may need to stop him yourself. Any way you can.
As far as Noah's concerned, Daniel is dead wrong wherever he's hiding. What Daniel's doing is completely wrong. He has no clue how dangerous exposing the truth could actually be. What Noah doesn't realize is that Jane actually thinks pretty much the same way he does. With the world already on the edge of war, news about aliens spreading would only make an already tense situation worse. To fully win Jane over, Noah starts quoting scripture, almost speaking like he's God himself.
Father, if you be willing, let this cup pass me by. Yet not as I will, but as you will.
As a devout believer, Jane's mind completely gives in, and she agrees to carry out Noah's orders. Meanwhile, weather anchor Margaret is living with her boyfriend Jackson. Life's stable enough, but she's not satisfied with where she's at. She's always wanted to move to a big city and build a real career. She has no idea a change is coming without any warning. One day, a red-feathered bird suddenly lands on her table. Margaret stares at it and suddenly loses all control of herself. She freezes completely, eyes blank, like she's possessed by something, and starts speaking fluent Russian without meaning to. Her boyfriend has no idea what the hell just happened to her. Later, on the way to work, Margaret gets pulled over by a traffic cop for speeding. By now she seems to have some kind of telepathic ability. She can tell right away the cop's in a bad mood and even knows it's because he had a fight with his wife. Even though they've never met, she nails the details of his private life. The cop is stunned. Margaret gets her ticket dropped and rushes off to the TV station. In the studio, a Korean sponsor shows up, and Margaret ends up chatting with him fluently in Korean the whole time, without even realizing she'd never spoken a word of a foreign language before. Then once the live weather segment starts, things get strange again. While she's talking to the camera as usual, her voice starts making a weird, uncontrollable noise, then her eyes go black and she faints on the spot. Margaret's rushed to the hospital and her boyfriend comes to be with her. After she wakes up, a group of men in black are standing outside her room. These guys are actually Noah's men. The doctor claims they're from the FBI, but Margaret, who can now read minds, quickly picks up Daniel's name straight out of their thoughts. So she uses a bathroom break as an excuse, and escapes the hospital with her boyfriend. It's pouring rain outside. The two of them get in the car with no idea where to go. Just then Hugo calls out of nowhere. Turns out he saw Margaret's weather broadcast and realized her powers had awakened. To keep her safe, he warns her not to go home and to destroy her phone right away, so Noah's people can't track them. After hanging up, Margaret's on high alert. She hops out and crushes the phone under the front wheel, stomping on it a few extra times just to be sure. Guided by some kind of sixth sense, she feels like she'll run into Daniel if she heads north, even though the two have never met. Around this time, Daniel sees Margaret's broadcast on his phone too, and easily deciphers the strange language no one else can understand. It translates to something like, "Don't be afraid, here's the location." Hugo, meanwhile, also realizes only Daniel and Margaret working together can turn this situation around, so he calls Daniel right away. But the moment Daniel picks up, something happens across the entire wheat field. Seeing what's happening in front of him, Daniel knows he needs to meet up with Margaret immediately. But before he goes, he has to go back and rescue his trapped girlfriend first. By the time he gets back though, Noah's men have already arrived. Daniel sneaks around and slips into a sedan, then floors it straight into the house, grabs Jane who's being controlled, pulls her into the car and speeds off. At this point, Daniel has no idea his girlfriend's mind has already been taken over. He doesn't even notice her hand quietly reaching for the wheel. Luckily, right as she grabs it, another car slams into them. Daniel checks on his girlfriend, sensing something's wrong, and keeps calling Jane's name to snap her out of it. The sharp pain pulls her hand back completely, breaking Noah's grip on her. Noah gets hit with backlash too and collapses at the same moment, dropping the device to the floor. Though Jane's free from control for now, Noah's men catch up fast and shoot out a tire. With his excellent driving skills, Daniel keeps the car steady, dodging attacks while wrecking several of the pursuers. After a long chase, they finally reach the edge of a cliff with nowhere left to go. Panicking, they scramble out of the car, wedge a rock on the gas pedal and send the car over the edge, making it look like they went down with it, successfully shaking off their pursuers. Meanwhile, things aren't going well for Margaret. She's trying to bring her boyfriend along to find Daniel, but he has no idea what's going on with her and just thinks she's having a mental breakdown, so he keeps trying to take her back to the hospital. Margaret quickly reads his mind, and while he's on the phone with the hospital, she drives off alone to keep looking for Daniel. After escaping with his girlfriend, based on the alien language Margaret spoke during the broadcast, Daniel writes out a string of mathematical code on paper. Jane's still shaken, worried Noah might take control of her again, so she has Daniel tie her up before they sleep. Sure enough, Noah soon regains consciousness and locks onto their location again. Before Hugo's backup can arrive, Noah's men kill him. Daniel, staying alert, pulls Jane along and hides in the bathroom. He hands over the controller and all the alien files using a classic decoy trick, having his girlfriend take the real stuff and go first while he stays behind and gets taken back to the company. Luckily, Margaret, using her heightened senses, soon figures out Daniel is being held at a base. Outsiders normally can't get in at all, but relying on mind reading again, Margaret decrypts the base's access code and walks straight in unopposed, where she runs into Daniel and Noah. Noah recognizes Margaret instantly. The moment he steps forward, his expression completely changes, eyes suddenly full of tenderness, like he's become a totally different person. In his eyes, Margaret has become his long-dead wife. Turns out Margaret's power isn't just fluency in every language. Anyone who makes eye contact with her gets flooded with emotion, triggering intense empathy. When Margaret and Daniel finally meet and get close to each other, they both feel an indescribable sense of closeness. Without much trouble, the two of them escape the base together. The armed guards in their way are easily dealt with using Margaret's empathy power, making the men who try to stop them see hallucinations instead. The two of them flee together by car, and it's only mid-conversation they realize they both have extraordinary abilities, and that both their powers awaken the moment they saw a red-feathered bird. But while they're talking, they don't notice at all that Noah's men have caught up with them again, slamming hard into their car. A train is barreling toward them not far ahead. Under repeated impacts, the car's about to get swept up by the train. At the last second, Daniel kicks out the windshield, and the two of them carefully climb onto the hood, reaching out to grab a handle on the train. Just as Daniel's about to climb up, another train comes barreling in. Right in the nick of time, Margaret grabs Daniel's hand and holds on tight, and the two of them finally climb into the train car together. After all that, Daniel and Margaret finally meet up with Hugo. Turns out Hugo's been in secret contact with an alien who escaped Wodex, known as Weaver 17, and Hugo's been following Weaver 17's instructions the whole time. Weaver 17's plan is actually pretty clear. Daniel and Margaret were altered the same year, and their abilities complement each other. Only by joining forces can they complete the mission of revealing the truth to the world. So Hugo guides them to split up and regroup, and the two eventually meet at a secret location. For the occasion, Hugo and his team have recreated 1:1, the house Margaret lived in with her parents as a child. But Margaret deliberately avoids meeting Hugo's eyes the whole time. She knows Hugo, under Weaver 17's guidance, carries all of his sealed, traumatic past inside him. If their eyes ever meet, her empathy power will force her to read every secret in Hugo's mind, including what really happened at the old house and the childhood memories he's always been too afraid to face. Hugo's whole reason for recreating the old house is to awaken Margaret's own childhood memories. Turns out when Margaret was 10, something extraordinary happened that's been perfectly preserved in her mind, and to bring the truth back to the surface, she needs to be triggered by a familiar environment to retrieve that memory. So Hugo asks Margaret to join Daniel in a kind of homecoming hypnosis session, and places the controller into Margaret's palm himself. At the same time, the past that's been buried between the two of them gets completely uncovered. When they were kids, a group of aliens really did arrive on Earth to show goodwill. So the young children wouldn't be scared, the aliens disguised themselves and approached the kids as small animals. Margaret and Daniel were the two children chosen. The aliens brought them aboard their spacecraft and gave them each a unique ability. From then on, Margaret gained the power of empathy and the ability to speak every language. Daniel gained the ability to decipher alien writing and a gift for interpreting interstellar data. The two of them witnessed the alien civilization's message of peace with their own eyes and learned that the aliens want to share the truth with humanity. After that meeting, to keep the two kids from being overwhelmed, the aliens sealed away all their memories, erasing every trace of the contact and of the two of them knowing each other, letting them grow up apart and live ordinary lives. When the time was right, Hugo would guide them back together, unlock their memories and complete the mission, one handling spiritual communication and mind reading, the other handling text decoding and data interpretation. Only together could they fully receive everything the aliens were trying to say. As the memories fully surface, Margaret's empathy power fully awakens too. She's no longer afraid and finally meets Hugo's gaze on purpose. They openly acknowledge they know each other. In this moment, she finally understands Hugo and sees clearly the path she needs to take. After that, the group heads for the TV station to publicly reveal the truth about aliens being real, including the tragic story of alien life stranded on Earth and imprisoned by Wodex. Just as the group is about to head out to the TV station, a huge team sent by Noah is already there waiting, determined to stop them from revealing the truth. At the critical moment, Margaret activates her power, using the controller to activate it fully, and turns everyone completely invisible. Noah's men storm the hideout and search everywhere, but can't find a single trace of them. The group escapes using their invisibility, but Noah already knows exactly where Margaret and the others are headed, the TV station. Margaret leads the group to the TV station where she used to work, wanting to broadcast the truth about aliens live, nationwide. Using her empathy power, she convinces her old colleagues at the station to cut the current war news broadcast and free up the channel for a global live stream. Daniel has all the evidence ready to go, on a disc that can sync to the live broadcast at any moment. Noah quickly shows up at the studio and the two sides face off right there. In the end, Noah is no match for Margaret's empathy power. Once the broadcast officially goes live, Margaret finally reveals everything. Since the Roswell incident in 1947, Wodex has been hiding the truth about aliens visiting Earth. Working closely with the military, they've seized every scrap of UFO wreckage and alien evidence, constantly reverse engineering it to develop advanced technology from the recovered alien debris. Throughout it all, the aliens have been imprisoned, even suffering brutal abuse at human hands. Daniel also syncs all the internal documents in his possession to the live broadcast feed. The evidence on the USB drives includes black and white photos from the 1947 Roswell crash site, early shots of military personnel out in the desert wreckage area discovering images of the flying saucer, the wreckage of the crashed craft that became the starting point for human research into aliens, and the original source Wodex used to start reverse engineering. The live signal quickly spreads across the entire world, with every major network broadcasting it. Countries that had been rattling sabers at each other instantly ease off the tension, and all military operations get suspended. After all, in the face of confirmed alien visitors, every war among humans suddenly feels pointless. Along with the synced video evidence, Hugo also has his team bring Weaver, 17 in front of the camera. Weaver, 17, held captive by Wodex for years, is extremely weak. It walks up to Daniel and delivers a message from the aliens, which Daniel translates for Margaret. Margaret steps up to the camera and says one key word to the entire watching world.
Listen.
And behind that one word is a simple hope, that humanity will let go of its prejudice and arrogance, truly listen to what alien life is asking for, and finally face the truth about the universe that's been hidden for so long. Accept that alien civilizations are real because these secrets belong to all of humanity, not just a select few.